Guys, if you've watched any of my recent videos, then let me just tell you, I got hot, it's warm in here. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are about to enter into our 5th year of homeschooling, and we have done it since pre-K with my oldest, or since kinder with my oldest. So she will be going into the 4th grade next year. And then I have another one who is in pre-K this year, going into kinder next year. Today, I want to talk with you about why accurate history is so important. Before we go any further, guys, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Now, I have received eye rolls, maybe at best. Not from you. I feel like you guys, we really connect. We really feel, especially some of you are very passionate about this topic, just as passionate as I am. Some of you, though, may be new here, and you may be wondering why we are even having a discussion about accurate history. What do you mean? History, especially history lessons, tend to, well, history, let's start at the beginning here. History is one of the topics when you are focusing on a secular homeschool that there's just not a lot of resources for. For whatever reason, you can only get secular history if you are in public school, and it's much harder to find one that is not religiously based for homeschoolers. It is very hard to find one that is accurate. And that's the part of this that I want to expand on today. So when I am saying accurate history, it is important to know that I'm a homeschool kid, okay? Most of what I learned is not right. And you may be really shocked as a grown-up, as an adult, as a parent, to learn that most of what you learned is kind of a lie. And I don't say that lightly. I can appreciate the reasons, I guess, for the inaccuracies, let's call them. If you have not read it, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you think I'm Banana Town, I encourage you to go pick up a book. It is written by a history professor and someone who writes textbooks that are frequently rejected. I encourage you to pick up a book called Lies My Teacher Told Me, and I will link it down below in the description box. It's a meaty read, so prep yourself. We are taught, especially in American schools, about this idea of American exceptionalism. Now, I am by no means bashing America. I am by no means saying that we should not appreciate the founding fathers and things like that, because that's absolutely not how I feel. Most of what we're taught, most of what we're educated with is that America is just the best thing that has ever happened. And don't get me wrong, I do kind of believe that. But they are not honest about the means that they took to get there, right? So they're not honest about the fact, one, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. 2, he was a horrible person, slave owner, really bad person. I really feel, at being a homeschool mom, right? And, you know, of an age where we are in a little bit more enlightened maybe than some people would be, it is important for me as the mother of girls, especially, and I always come back to this, and I don't mean to say that being the mother of boys is any less important. I'm not saying that. But as a mother of girls, I feel a greater responsibility to show them that women played a role in history and won so much more than sewing a flag, which, by the way, that story is not true either. It is important to me to show an accurate depiction of history because, one, kids need to know that immigrants mattered. Kids need to know that the indigenous peoples mattered, that they had really advanced ways of working their societies, that women played a greater role in those societies. My daughters need to know that women played a greater role in the founding of our country. It wasn't just the founding fathers, y'all. There were some women there too, okay? It's really important to remember that. somehow women get marginalized and sidelined, as well with minorities and people of color. It's really important to me to show through my homeschool that the world is a little different. And the reasons that that is important to me is because, one, you cannot learn from things if you don't learn the things. It is important for me as a white person, to be quite honest, to educate my children on the fact that, slavery, a really honest and accurate depiction of that. And I try to very early, while also being age appropriate, which is a whole other struggle because history is messy and dirty and not fun. But it's important to me as a parent to educate my children so that they don't grow up thinking that different is wrong, because it's not. But and don't get me wrong, I don't buy into this whole cancel culture, because I think it's very important to look at things through the lens of the times. And one of the best ways that I can ever describe this is when my husband and I started dating, we wanted to watch the AMC's list of the 100 greatest movies of all time. And I use this story to show you, to highlight, because there were some movies on this list and I'm like, God, this movie is terrible. Like, why is it on this list? You have to look at it through the lens of the time, right? So yes, the movie might be terrible and just have been abysmal all around, but it's the first time they used color. It's very significant. It's the first time they had sound. Very significant. So it's important, I think, especially with history, to look at the actions, the steps taken through a different lens. You have to look through the lens. I'm not saying it's okay or the things that happen were okay, but I think it's important to look through the right lens. It's easier to comprehend how people could have gotten there through the right lens. And I also think that it's very important to tell my children, the truths about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, because if we put historical figures on such a podium that they were perfect, I think that does a greater disservice to everyone, to public, to my children. If they think, even myself, if they think I'm infallible and I do no wrong, how are they going to judge and evaluate themselves when they've done something wrong? Do I want them to think that because they told a lie, they can never be president? No, that's not how this works, guys. He told lots of lies and he owned slaves. He's not the best of person. But was he still a good person? Yes, at the end of the day, he absolutely was. And on that note, I really think it's very important to illustrate to our children that everyone, all the time is some good and some bad. Everyone. I am, you are, Hitler was. Guys, Hitler at some point did something good. He was never 100% bad. Ditto George Washington. George Washington did something bad. He wasn't 100% good. It's important to the development, I think, of society to let these children know that, yes, this good person, he did do some bad things. This bad person, he did do some good things. I think it will help them both to evaluate themselves, to evaluate the people around them. It's very important to me, especially in today's media climate, to encourage my children to think about the source of things. Where did this information come from? Why did they change it and then outlaw Black people when they had been previously allowed? Why did they then outlaw women when they had been previously allowed in whatever thing? I want to teach, and again, I'm so sorry, but especially my girls, to learn the source, to evaluate the source. Don't take someone's word for it. I want them to think about the motivation behind why things were the way that they were. I think that these skills will serve them so much better in life, knowing that no one was ever perfect, no matter how great they were, no matter how high they rose. No one was ever perfect. And no matter how far someone falls, that they weren't at some time someone who did something good. It is very important to me as a parent, mother of girls, as someone who is educating little humans who are going to go out into the world and hopefully change it. They need to know the full story. And that comes with what really happened. Being able to look at it in a similar light and lens with the way that those things did happen. But then also knowing that people are shades of good and bad. No one is all good. No one is all bad. And something that plays into that I try to do as a parent is admitting to them when I'm wrong or apologizing as need be. Now, yes, I mean, we are a white family. I'm never going to understand a lot of things that have happened in the world, and I'll never feel them the same way. Not exactly true as far as the plight of women. I can relate to that a little bit more. But I want my children to, if they don't know, be willing to listen and learn. That's my goal. Those are my goals. This is why presenting an accurate view of history is so important for me, and why I'm going to keep searching it out all the time and share with you guys what I find. Share with me what you find. And these will be things that we'll get a more serious conversations about as they get older, obviously, because, you know, 8's maybe not the ideal time to talk about most of that, but we'll get there. But I don't want them, like I said, I'm not part of this cancel culture. I don't want them frowning on everything, but I want them to understand the full and accurate picture, because you don't have to have been perfect for us to appreciate your contributions to the world. Something else that really plays into this is that I don't want them to idolize people. I don't. I you know, historical figures, I don't want them to idolize them. You can appreciate them. You can agree with them or disagree with them or whatever, but don't idolize them. And especially not actors and actresses and, you know, professional sports people, because it's not okay. I don't know how else to say that. I don't want them idolizing people, especially for goals and results and things that are just simply not attainable. I don't feel like that would be good for their person on the inside. So I would like to avoid that as much as possible, and presenting people as they actually were, I think is more helpful. Presenting history as it actually happened is probably more helpful. So my little mom rant there, guys. So I hope you found it as helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you're new to homeschooling, welcome. All these videos aren't like this. But anyways, like I said, I'll link that book down below for you guys if you're interested. It's a really great read, but it is meaty. It took me a little while to kind of chew on the things. It took me a while to read, but very, very, very good. So guys, if you have any resources you want to share on accurate history, please scroll on down, leave a comment down below. I will read them, or head on over to Instagram at Making Everyday Magic and shoot me a DM. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. Please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, guys, for those of you who've stayed to the end, I know that you feel this. People in my real life think I'm bananas, like, so much. Because they just don't know. Like, maybe I'm bananas, but it's more that fun video of things I say to people who ask me stupid questions.